Hello, I'm Jo Kiminade and I'm talking to John Knorr, CEO and founder of Business Systems. And today we're talking about Uglii and the postal system. John, why is Uglii so important to the postal system?
Jo, the postal systems have got an opportunity of getting some new revenue from the Uglii system, comprehensive revenue, and they've got a big advantage because generally the postal systems have got a network of post offices they can exploit to bring businesses into the Uglii system and therefore earn themselves a lot of money out of the Uglii system. There's also economic advantages for an economy to have the postal system engaged with the Uglii system, because it means that all businesses can be easily contacted by the postal system and brought into the Uglii system.
I suppose the postal system is one place that deals with all businesses.
Absolutely, that's right, and most people in the economy. So postal systems have got a huge advantage over the other partners that we like for the system. They are telcos and banks. Of course, every business has got a relationship with the postal industry, a bank and a telco. To do business, it needs those three sort of partners.
Right.
The advantage that the postal industry's got, of course, it tends to be a monopoly in its industry, and therefore it's got a big advantage. Whereas the banking industry is a fractured industry. It's got multiple players.
And telcos as well, and there's also a lot of churn there, isn't there?
Yeah, and there's a lot of churn, there's a lot of instability, but everybody needs the postal system. The other big advantage for Uglii, I guess, and for the postal industry is that the postal industry is generally highly regarded. People trust the postal system.
Yes.
Okay, no matter what frustrations they may have with the postal system, they still trust it. It's a highly trusted organisation in most economies.
And postal systems would have lost a lot of revenue, I'm imagining. I don't know how long it's been since I've sent a letter. I do everything via email.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they have. They've lost most of their first-class mail, and that's a huge problem, of course. So they're generally looking around to find revenues to replace that lost revenue. And
Uglii's got the solution.
Uglii's got the solution, and it's a very exciting solution. So it's much more multi-dimensional than providing postal services, but it's very relevant for all businesses, and it's a huge opportunity to be involved in the growth of an economy. So it's sort of enhancing the role of the postal industry in the economy. That's making post offices little hubs of economic development.
Right.
That's because the Uglii system is so powerful, and it's got so many ways that it can help businesses grow or increase their exports or do exciting things that it just adds another dimension to the postal organisation.
So the way it works is the postal system comes on in a particular economy as a national partner of Uglii.
Yep.
And then all of the subsidiary post offices, outlets, they become affiliates.
That's right.
And can revenues be earned through both affiliates and through as a national partner?
They really earn through the affiliates. The affiliates are the driving part of the whole thing.
Right.
So the task for the postal industry or the postal system is to engage its post offices in helping businesses come into the system.
Sure.
Now, it depends on the economy, but it sort of varies from economy to economy how much businesses are net savvy in their economy.
Right.
But we think that in all economies, a lot of businesses are going to require some assistance in coming into the system.
Right.
To getting past.
Some guidance.
Some guidance, a little bit of encouragement to come into the system.
Sure.
And I always come back to this sort of old analogy. I'm an old man, and when I grew up, the post office was really the economic centre of the town that I grew up in.
Sure.
The postmaster was the bloke who knew everything
and knew everybody
and every business, and he knew all the government regulations, and he had all the government forms and all of those sort of things. So the post office was really a little economic powerhouse for the town that helped the local economy grow.
Right.
So we have this back to the future sort of thing going on.
Yes.
So we'd really like to see post offices play a much more important role in their local economy and be creative and stimulatory in their economy.
So as an affiliate, the post office then registers businesses into the Uglii system,
Yep.
and obviously gets a commission.
It gets a commission on the monies that they spend in the system, that those businesses spend in the system.
Right, okay. So anything that those businesses do within the system, there will be a charge for, although it's fairly minimal, isn't it, the charge?
Well, there's 39 fee-based services in the Uglii system,
Right.
but there's also half a dozen services that are free, and it's the free ones that are going to be very attractive for all businesses. So it's fairly easy to get business involved in the Uglii system because they're attracted to the free ones.
Sure.
Once they get involved, of course, then they can see, well, there's an opportunity for me to to do some exports. I'd never thought about doing exports,
But now I can.
now I've got a tool that I can buy. So we think businesses generally are going to be very excited about spending a little bit of money in the system,
Right.
and that of course commission goes to some commission of that. A big proportion of the fees goes to the local post office and to the postal system.
Right.
The system's very generous in its commission structure.
Right. So is there also a place within the system that allows particular staff from a post office to earn commissions rather than just the post office?
Yes, there is actually.
Right.
There's what we call a sub-affiliate arrangement
Right.
that the postal organisation can decide to switch on in the system for its economy, whereby staff can be engaged to register businesses and get a little commission out of that.
Oh,
so the
okay.
commission might be a one-off cash payment, or it could be an enduring revenue stream for as long
Right.
as those staff are there. So the system's got a lot of tools in it to help the postal industry become engaged in the system, and for postal employees to become engaged and excited about the system as well. So,
Right.
yeah, there's also facilities in the system to make it very easy for the postal system to come on board. There's tools in the system that, for example, allow a page of a web page to be created that shows the system, parts of the Uglii system focused on the local area of the post office. Now that's very important for most businesses because most businesses are focused locally.
Yes.
Most businesses have a catchment that's fairly local from which they draw customers.
Right.
So that localness is incredibly important to most businesses. So the system will automatically create a page in which the system presents itself on behalf of the local
Right.
post office,
Sure.
showing local maps of the local area, and that's a very quick way of engaging businesses
Right.
because they can see where they are
Yep.
on the mapping system,
Sure.
where their dot is going to be on the system.
Apart from revenue, which obviously everyone
Very
wants,
important, yeah.
but obviously there's a bit of credibility there too. They're sort of helping businesses with this tool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Look, that's a very important point. And of course, in most economies, governments are fairly desperate to improve the lot of
Yes.
their economy, so that we see the postal industry as becoming a vital tool for helping the economy get better and get stronger.
Right.
In our modelling of the system, we say that the Uglii system will contribute 1% increase in GDP to an economy. Now, some governments have done some modelling of the Uglii system operating in their economy specifically, and their modelling is up to 3% per annum increase in GDP because of the efficiencies and the competition that the system brings into the economy. So we're talking some pretty profound benefits for an economy, and of course some very big pluses and accolades for the postal system if it's involved in the process.
Let's just talk about revenues for a minute. They are the all-important thing.
Yep.
So how are they paid? You've said that they're generous. That's great. How are they paid?
They're paid every 2 weeks on a billing cycle. So, and they're also transparent. So, each of the postal system managers can go into the system and see how much is owed to the system within that 2 weeks at any time.
Sure.
And each of the post offices can go into the system and see how much is owed to them.
Right.
So if they're doing their accounts separately,
Yep.
Okay, then the post office can see that. If they're doing their accounts in a consolidated fashion, then obviously the management can only see that.
So, John, what we've got is we've got the post offices as affiliates registering businesses, but obviously there's only a limited number of businesses. And you mentioned earlier that you also got telcos and banks, and I'm assuming there are other people coming on as national partners. Is there a limit to the number of national partners that you'll allow into an economy?
Yes, Joe. There is certainly a limit.
Right.
And we've established those limits, and they can be seen at a particular website, which is called uglieglobal.com.
Right.
So anybody that wants to go and have a look at the limits that we've set for their economy can do that right now. The importance for the postal industry is that we deem that a postal system coming in for their country, into the Uglii system for their country, is taking up half the available affiliates in that country.
Right.
Now, that's terrific if the postal system is proactive and early in that process, so that doesn't restrict it at all. But if more than half of the affiliates are taken up by banks, telcos,
Other industry organisations.
And industry organisations, etc., then the postal industry is effectively blocked from coming into the system.
Right.
So it's very important for the postal industry of every country that they consider the Uglii opportunity very early in the piece, so that they're not blocked from coming into the system.
It's a bit of a land grab.
The whole system's designed to be a land grab. The whole of the Uglii system is based on the principles of competition.
Right.
Okay, and that goes as far as including competition for securing businesses into the system.
Right.
The system is sticky, which basically means that once a business has come into the system, it's going to stay in the system, and it's going to stay in the system with a relationship with the organisation that brought it into the system.
Right.
There's no real opportunity for churn
Right.
in the system. So
There wouldn't be any reason, really, would
there's
there?
no reason, no.
Sure.
Okay. But that's a very important principle for postal systems in particular to understand, that they're going to have no opportunity once it gets past that halfway mark. They can't sit back and sort of check out what's happening in the system. They will miss out. They will miss out. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons we're making a particular pitch to the postal industry to become involved in the Uglii system and understand the Uglii system now, rather than waiting even a couple of months to see what happens.
Right. Sure.
Now, the importance of that, of course, too, is that if they get locked out of the system because of their own inactivity, they're going to look bad.
Right.
Okay.
In their own economy.
In their own economy, yeah.
Sure.
The other thing is that the system solves a problem for the postal industry. In most postal systems, there's a bit of a conflict going on between the postal system that wants to close down some of its post offices for management and economic reasons or efficiency reasons, and politicians that like to keep the post offices alive in their local economy.
Sure.
So our system really solves that conflict by making the post offices more vibrant and more
Right.
important to the local economy.
Sure.
So it's satisfying the political masters as well as satisfying the needs for more revenue.
The revenue streams, they're enduring, aren't they?
They go on forever. Yeah. And they should be escalating too, because as businesses become more aware of the system and more aware of the services the system provides, and more aware that the system is actually saving them a lot of money and making their operations more efficient, then they'll spend more money in the system as it goes along. So we expect the revenues to escalate fairly substantially.
Sure.
I think it's very important to understand that the system is really in no way is it gouging businesses in an economy.
Sure.
Okay, the system services are affordable. They're either free or they're affordable.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And there's a 3-level charging hierarchy which charges developed economies more than developing economies, for example.
Right.
So that there is no businesses in the whole world that we think should be left behind.
Right.
And there is no business that shouldn't be in the system.
Right.
To get some benefit for that business and to get some benefit for their local economy.
Right.
So the system's very powerful, and it's giving all businesses in every economy new rights, and those rights are to be discovered
Right.
Okay, so we're saying this is a new regime for the whole globe in that we're providing free spatial discovery for every business as a right in that economy, no matter how poor or remote or unengaged in the global economy it may feel it is. We can help it grow and become more prosperous.
Right.
So that's a radical departure from what happens at the moment, where the net savvy and the rich business in the economy get the benefit from the internet and the rest get left behind.
Right.
We think it's a transformational process.
Right.
This system hasn't been dreamt up overnight. We've been working on it for 13 years. We've got very, very good intellectual property. Our company, small though it may be, is in a very powerful position with the patents that we've got around the world. Right. So even though we may not be well known to the postal industry, postal executives can go onto our website and check out our patents to see why we're powerful.
And it's because of those patents that Uglii is the only company that can offer this kind of spatial discovery, is that correct?
Well, we're the only company in the world that can offer it comprehensively in the world. Okay?
Sure.
So that's very important. So nobody can compete with us in a whole lot of areas where we've got patents.
Right.
In some countries they can compete with us, but only within those countries.
Right.
But we're the only company in the world that can comprehensively provide these services.
Right.
The important thing about it is that the services are the same everywhere in the world. So regardless of where a business is, the rules and regulations of the system and the processes of the system are identical. So it doesn't matter whether they're in China, India, Australia, the United States, Europe, the rules are the same.
I understand.
Okay, the processes are the same.
Right.
Okay.
Now, I'm aware from my association with Uglii of telcos, banks, other industry organisations that you're talking to in a lot of economies. It's got to be fairly urgent for these post offices to jump on board, I'm imagining. If they're going to be taking up half of the available affiliates in a country, they shouldn't be sitting on their hands for very long.
No, well, the danger is that they get locked out of the opportunity,
Right.
Which will be very embarrassing.
Yep.
For them and sad really, because we think the postal industry will do an excellent job in helping their national economy grow through the Uglii system. So there's an economic opportunity for their economy, there's a business opportunity for the postal systems.
Sure.
But it's got limited time that can be taken up.
Okay.
What I'm encouraging managers of postal systems to do is to engage with a global partner in the system and at least reserve the opportunity for themselves by paying a deposit to secure their option in the system till they can do their due diligence.
So they need to get onto a global partner, and they can do that through this website, www.uglii.
Yes, they can.
Uglii.
Yeah,
Yes.
Uglii.com. They can do it through Uglii.com, or they can do it through ugliiglobal.com.
Right.
Okay. The ugliiglobal.com website's got a lot more information in it on a country by country basis.
Right.
The Uglii system site, which is uglii.com, has got a lot more information about the systems.
Okay.
But this is particularly exciting for the postal industry, and that's why we're going to the effort of trying to educate postal systems on the opportunity, but also on the limited duration of the opportunity. This door will close very quickly.
Sure.
Because their rivals, the banks and the telcos will move into it pretty quickly as well.
Right. Okay. So you should be going to Uglii, Uglii global.com or uglii.com to find out more information and get in touch with a global partner. John, thanks very much for talking to us today.
Pleasure.